Hey there, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here, and today I'm super excited because I'm going to be talking about this all-new Ignik Firecan Deluxe. This thing is the coolest ammo can fire pit I have ever seen, and I'm excited to show you all the features of this thing today and kind of give you a walk around of this thing and show you everything that it has to offer. It has some really cool features, so again, I'm really excited to show you this. I'm going to kind of walk you through everything that comes with this thing. So without further ado, let's get into the Ignik Firecan Deluxe. Alright guys, so starting off, just aesthetics, right? The look of this thing I think is really sharp. I like the contrasting colors, the yellow, the orange, the black. The shiny sort of chrome outward appearance of it is really, really nice. It looks like an ammo can too, right? But it looks like a super fancy sort of bougie ammo can. All the features kind of work just like an ammo can. It is literally based off of that, but they've done some really nice things to make it nicer and higher quality. So one thing that you'll notice is on this end where you have the handle, when you open that up, this back here is actually sort of like a powder coated metal. When you close it, it's much quieter than a traditional ammo can, which I actually really like that they put that kind of thought into it. Whether it was intentional or not, it does quiet down the operation of the latch so that it's not that bong, that big loud metal on metal screech that we always hear whenever we close one of these ammo cans. Another nice sort of touch is on all these handles, they've got sort of soft touch like rubber sort of wraps around them, so that just from a carrying standpoint, it makes it more comfortable, easier to carry. Another feature that I wanted to point out that I think is really cool is you will notice that down here, kind of etched into the metal, there are little icons. Now on this end it says fire pit. It shows like a fire pit with a blazing fire coming out of the top and an arrow pointing down and then an X through the grill mode. The reason for that is that this fire pit has two modes. It has a fire pit mode, just like most of these ammo can fire pits, where you can just have, you know, propane kind of coming out the top and providing light and heat. Or you could use the other end, the other regulator, to do a grill mode. And it has an insert that allows you to actually cook food in this thing, which is really cool. So basically, depending on what mode you want to use it on, you just basically quick connect it to the correct end. So like on this end, it's got a little logo for the grill with a little hot dog going on top and an X through the fire pit. So again, if you want to operate it in grill mode, you plug in your regulator to this end. If you want to operate it in fire pit mode, you plug your regulator into that end. It's just that simple, and it is really kind of foolproof, so you can't really mess it up. Another thing that I want to point out is these legs. Like, these legs are super beefy. The thing that I like about them is they are not lockable, which I know may sound weird, but so like my BioLite fire pit has lockable legs, but it has that little sort of pinch style where you have to push the button to release them. With these, they've got a lot of friction and resistance to them, so they're really nice to operate, and they do stay out really, really well. But there's no button to push, nothing to use to unlock them. You just basically push them out, and then they kind of just hold themselves in place. It's also just, again, a really sharp looking fire pit. I love how it looks. So now let's go inside of the fire can to see kind of where the magic happens and how they make it into like a dual purpose fire can. All right, so when you open this up, like most of these ammo can style fire pits, it does have a removable lid. Once that's off though, one thing that I really like is everything fits inside of here. So you've got a provided regulated hose with the quick connect on the end of it. So again, whichever end you're gonna put it into, basically all you gotta do is you pull this down like any sort of quick connect, put it on the connection, let go of it, and it locks on. So it's a piece of cake to install this thing and a piece of cake to get it onto your fire pit, which is really nice. Then of course on the regulator itself right here, you've got controls so that you can control how much propane's coming through to change, you know, your desired level of heat that you've got either for grilling or for your fire pit, which is really cool. And then of course it has this nice Ignik branded Velcro strap just so that you can hold this together so that again it will fit down in here when you're done with your fire and this thing is cooled off. You throw it all back in here and you're ready to go. Now this part here is your little grill for cooking, of course. It does have a little handle on it, which I really like, so that you can put it in here. It has little ledges where that sits. So then you can set that down in there, you can grill your food, and when you're ready to take it out, you just grab it by the handle and pop it out and you're good to go. Now this whole thing in here is the insert that makes this into a grill. As you'll see down here on the bottom, it's actually really cool the way that they designed this. So they kind of put a bend in it, almost like a V shape, so that it catches that heat from the propane and can kind of control it and direct it up the middle. So sort of similar to like a grill that you might have at your house. It's just gonna take these burners here and give you more control over that flame so that, again, with the regulator, you can adjust them up and down so you can have a good, even cooking surface for your food. The other cool thing is that there are drip channels that run down through here that actually will go to the bottom of the fire pit, and then when you get done cooking, if you have extra grease, it does have a little grease tray down here that you can empty out, clean up, throw it back in there, and you're good to go. So they've kind of thought of everything for this thing. Also on the end here, you'll notice this hole. That is for lighting the fire pit. So there's one on both ends, so regardless of which end you are putting your propane into, you can stick one of those, long Bic lighters through here and you can ignite your fire pit safely and easily, which I really like. And then of course down here on the bottom you've got your burners, just like most of these things again. With the mesh on the side, you have a really nice view of your fire if you're using it in fire pit mode, or again, when you insert your grill mode piece there, then you're ready to go to cook. Lastly, like pretty much all the Ignik stuff I've ever had, I wanted to point out how good of a job they do with packaging and just the branding of the stuff. But so you do get this really nice big warning card that explains how the grill insert works and the fact that you shouldn't really have the grill insert in when you ignite the fire can. So for the first time or any time thereafter, whenever you're lighting it, you want to turn it on without the grill insert in it. Then on top of that, they give you this nice little sort of insert that's wrapped around it that just sort of explains a little bit more, right? How to use it, what to use it for, gives you some tips for preventing wildfires and just sort of being, neutral for the environment. And they also give you this little sticker, little Ignik sticker, which is kind of cool and nice. And then lastly, they give you this really nice fire can instruction manual that walks you through everything as far as how to operate it, what all the parts are, if you would need to order extras or break something. Walks you through step by step sort of how to pull the legs out, how to set it up, how to ignite it, how not to use it in grill mode when you are first starting it up, that kind of thing. So it walks you through everything as far as operation goes with the fire pit, which I really like, because sometimes, if you're not familiar with these, you may not know how to do it, you may not know how to store it, you may not know the rules for kind of breaking it down, extinguishing it. They give you literally everything in this book, which is really, really nice. All right, guys, so that was the Ignik Firecan Deluxe. This thing is really cool. So again, if you were looking for a small, sort of compact, all-in-one fire pit that you could also use to cook on, this thing's a great option. One thing that I'm sure I'm gonna hear in the comments is, hey, it's really expensive, right? I can tell you without a doubt, though, that even the quote-unquote cheaper ones are really cheaply made. They're made with cheaper components. You're gonna have problems probably with your regulators, with your connection points breaking at some point. The flame's gonna be really hard to regulate. I've seen a ton of these things, and I know a few people that have them, and even the ones that are cheap that they bought for 150, 175 bucks are still really, really cheap and malfunction a lot. This thing is extremely sturdy, extremely well built. So again, so far really, really pleased with it. I'm going to be using it over the next few weeks. I've got a couple of expos that I'm going to, so I'm going to be testing it out. So later on I will do sort of a more in-depth like review style video about it, talking about the pros and cons and kind of what I've experienced now that I've used it. But just initial impressions, awesome. I think it looks great. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys. If you had any questions, post up in the comments down below. If you got value out of the video, click the like button. If you are new here and you haven't subscribed already, click that subscribe button, click the bell to be notified when new videos drop. I do a couple videos a week, usually like a gear review, sometimes like a do-it-yourself mod or things like that for your vehicles, for overlanding, or just general newbie style overlanding stuff. So again, if you're newer to overlanding or working on your setup for your overlanding rig, there's going to be a ton of content here for you. I also just picked up a brand new 3rd generation Nissan Frontier 2023. So if you're a Nissan person, this is definitely the place for you. I've had an Xterra, a 2nd gen Frontier, now I have a 3rd gen Frontier, so tons of Nissan content in the past and tons coming. Also in the description down below will be links to all my social channels, so wherever you want to come hang out, I'd love to see you over there and chat with you more. And then last but not least, there's also a link to my Patreon page. We have a Discord for that and a once-a-month call where we kind of all get together, drink a beer, and talk about our rigs, talk about gear, that kind of thing. It's just a really cool place to be. But again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.